America's story began a very long time ago. Around 15,000 years ago, many Native American tribes lived across the land. They were the first people to call this place home. They hunted animals, grew crops, traveled across rivers and forests, and lived close to nature. Their cultures were rich and different, and they built a peaceful life that lasted for thousands of years. But the part of America's story that the world knows most started much later. In 1492, an Italian explorer named Christopher Columbus sailed across the ocean. He wanted to find a new route to Asia, but instead he reached the Americas. The King and Queen of Spain supported his journey. Columbus believed he had arrived in India, so he called the native people Indians. Even though the Vikings had reached North America hundreds of years before, it was Columbus who brought Europe's attention to this new world, and soon many explorers began to follow. After Columbus, more European countries sent ships across the sea. Spain explored the south, searching for gold. France and England built small colonies in the north. These explorers brought new foods, animals, and tools, but also sicknesses that caused great suffering for Native Americans. In 1607, the English created their first permanent colony, Jamestown. Life there was extremely hard. The winters were cold, food was limited, and many settlers became sick. Still, they survived. More people arrived, hoping for a better life. In 1620, the Pilgrims came on a ship called the Mayflower. They wanted religious freedom. Native Americans helped them survive the first difficult winter, and together they celebrated the first Thanksgiving. As time passed, 13 colonies formed along the East Coast. People came to America because they wanted land, freedom, and new opportunities. But life was far from easy. Families had to grow their own food, build simple houses, and work every day to survive. Meanwhile, Britain continued to control the colonies. The king created strict laws and forced high taxes on the colonists. They felt this was unfair because they had no voice in the British government. Their famous protest was the Boston Tea Party in 1773, when angry colonists threw British tea into the ocean to show they had had enough. By 1775, conflict exploded into war. The American Revolution had begun. Leaders like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson guided the people. Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776, saying that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was a bold step, and the war was long and painful. The British Army was strong and experienced, while many American fighters were ordinary farmers. But they believed deeply in freedom. With help from France, the Americans finally won the war. In 1783, Britain officially recognized the United States of America as an independent nation. The new country wrote the Constitution and elected George Washington as its first president. But even though the ideas of freedom and equality were beautiful, they did not apply to everyone. Native Americans, women, and enslaved Africans were still treated unfairly. As the young nation grew, it bought more land and moved west. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the country. Explorers Lewis and Clark traveled across mountains and rivers to learn about these new lands, helped by a Native American woman named Sacagawea. But the westward movement also caused many Native Americans to lose their homes and traditions.
During this time, plantations in the South used enslaved Africans to work the fields. Slavery was cruel and heartbreaking. Families were separated, and people had no freedom. This created deep conflict between the North, which wanted to end slavery, and the South, which depended on it. Heroes like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass fought bravely for freedom. Their voices inspired many, but the tension grew stronger, until finally, in 1861, the Civil War began. It was one of the darkest times in American history. After 4 long years, the North won. Slavery was ended, but equality was still far away. In the years after the war, the United States changed quickly. The Industrial Revolution brought new machines, electricity, telephones, and factories. Immigrants from around the world arrived, each carrying hopes of the American dream. Some found success, while others faced poverty and discrimination. America also became stronger in worldwide influence. It won the Spanish-American War, helped in World War I, and became a superpower after World War II. At the same time, African Americans continued their long fight for equality. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. inspired millions with courage and peaceful action. Important laws were passed, but the journey toward fairness continues even today.
In the modern era, America is known for its technology, movies, music, and cultural diversity. People from many countries live together, bringing their food, traditions, and dreams. America has great strengths like innovation and freedom, but also challenges such as healthcare, inequality, and political division. Even with these problems, America keeps moving forward because its people keep dreaming. And here comes the twist. Many people think the story of America is already finished, but the truth is different. The story is still being written, not by famous leaders or explorers, but by ordinary people, immigrants, workers, children, students, and dreamers. Maybe one day, someone listening to this simple story, maybe even you, will become part of America's next chapter. History is not only about the past. Sometimes the next hero of a country is a person who quietly believes in a better tomorrow.
If this story touched your heart or helped you learn English today, please support this channel with a like and a simple comment. Your small action helps the stories continue. And if you want more easy English stories full of emotion and meaning, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for listening, my friend. See you in the next story.